And this is Under Review. Normally this is the show just with me talking about Colorado sports with a sprinkling of national sports headlines as well. I have obviously a guest. You know her from Confidential, Three Chicks in a Pod, and many other shows on this network, Jennifer Matthews Lewis.
Hi, thanks for having me on again, Jordan.
Oh, of course, you're always welcome on the show, as is anybody on the Sideline Sports Network. I always like having a guest just to, get other opinions than me. I mean, I like my opinions, but I like hearing yours as well. So, one of the major stories, as we both know, is that Roger Maris Jr.'s comments on Aaron Judge. We saw Aaron Judge the other day hit 61 to tie his father. And it was funny when you made the comment on, Twitter saying, he hit the home run. I'm sitting there going, I was also watching. Funny, I missed it because, I had other things going on, but at least I saw the replay. But
Right.
the thing about Aaron Judge is, don't get me wrong, 61 home runs is amazing. He tied Roger Maris's American League record. I know on the Confidential, I can't remember if you were on that week or not, but JB and I talked about it. It's 61. Yeah, it's great. But guess what? He just tied it.
Right.
What matters to me, and JB would also agree, is that he wants to win a World Series. But the thing is the reason why this is such a big deal is, he's tied the mark for the American League. What he said, though, and it kind of makes sense, and I'll get your thoughts on this too, is Maris Jr. said, I think it gives people a chance to look at somebody who should be revered for hitting 62 home runs and not just the guy who did it in the American League. Of course, he's tied right now, so he's assuming he hits another one in the last week of the season. But he should be revered for being the actual single season home run champ. That is Aaron Judge. I mean, that's really who he is if he hits 62, which I think he will do it in the next few weeks, or in the next week. I think what needs to happen, this is what Roger Maris Jr. said, was I think baseball needs to look at the records, and I think baseball should do something about it. I don't think he's wrong because he looks at, Mark McGwire, who hit, 70 in 1998. I remember that home run race between him and Sammy Sosa.
I do too.
The thing is I remember when they switched from, I don't even know what program I was watching on Fox to that, and I saw it barely clear the wall. And I remember, McGwire giving Roger Maris Jr.'s family, or hit him and his family, hugs. And it was like, okay, this is a happy story ending. And of course, that was remembered as, the season that brought fans back. What I mean by that is, I don't know if people remember that in 1994, there was a lockout that wiped out the World Series. Luckily, they, broke the lockout to actually come back in 1995. But that home run race is really what baseball needed. I don't think people remember that just because of the fact that, it was 1998. It's a long time ago. You were trying to get fans back. Did he take steroids? Probably. I mean, he hasn't been proven that he did, but it was most likely. And then Barry Bonds did it in 2001, and he hit 73. I don't think Roger Maris Jr. is wrong with his comments because of the fact that, yes, technically Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds did cheat. But, hey, Will, as he decides to come on, I wonder what Will's thoughts are on this because that is his team. But the thing that bugs me...
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. The thing that bugs me about the whole thing is you look at Barry Bonds, he hit 73. I don't think he's wrong. I don't think Roger Maris Jr. is wrong saying that, Judge should be the home run king. Just because, we have seen that they have cheated, Bonds and McGwire. But the thing is, though, does it really matter at this point? I don't think Aaron Judge would say, I care about 62 home runs. What does he want? He wants a World Series ring. That's what it comes down to, and he'll have that chance. Yes, single season things are great, but what do you actually want? You want to be revered as a champion. So I can't say that Roger Maris is wrong for what he has to say about this. Let's see. Let's talk about this on your show. I'm not. Oh, on the Cubs show. And I want to really is Will saying he wants to come on? Is that
I
what
think he's saying he wants to come on. Do you want to let's bring him in real quick?
if he wants to? I have no problem bringing Will on.
Do you want to send him the link or do you want me to?
I can, let's see, where is it? I know the link's in here. Do you want to send, why don't you send him the link? Because I don't know.
Well, sending you the link.
Because I know if you don't know who Will is, he's on a lot of our shows, and actually he is the Yankees guy for Sideline Sports. Oh, he can't. He's at work. Okay.
Oh, fine then. Well, whatever. Then I'm not sending it to you. So here's the thing. I think Maris Jr.'s comments were more because they were cheating. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. And Judge, he's not been busted cheating. So, and that's, I think, where Maris Jr. is coming from, and that his dad and Aaron Judge have done it without help. Now, who's to say that Bonds and McGuire wouldn't have gotten it without steroids? Because I actually think they may have. Because steroids just amplifies the talent you already have, right? And a lot of other really bad things. But that's where Maris Jr. is coming from. Because he wants, his dad did it cleanly. Aaron Judge has done it cleanly. So, I mean, that's where I get where he's coming from, to be honest with you.
Oh, I completely agree. And the thing is I even look at, I know this is, total home runs in a career. I don't think Barry Bonds, yes, he has the most, but I still go to Hank Aaron as number one because he's clean.
Well, yeah.
The thing is I think the reason why this is such a big deal is, of course, the steroid era. And could McGuire and Bonds did it without steroids? Maybe. We don't know that for sure. But the thing is they were never tested that they tested positive for steroids. Of course, McGuire went to Congress and had that whole fiasco. But the thing I look at it too is, did they actually break a baseball rule? The answer is no. And the reason why they're not in the Baseball Hall of Fame is because of the supposedly steroid use. We still need representation of the steroid era, and we're starting to get that. Does there need to be an asterisk? I don't think so, just because of the fact that technically they did it legally, even though that it was illegal, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of wish Will could come on the show because I want his thoughts on Aaron Judge. He did say on Scott's show, if you guys don't know who that is, he has the South Florida Tribune, and we're actually, Sideline Sports is actually partnering with him.
Yes, we are.
And I know Jen's been on a couple of their shows. I've been on one with Scott and Will Vogel, and Will just said, relax, he's going to hit 61. He didn't say relax, he'll hit 62, but he said 61. So at least he's tied it, and we'll see if he hits 62. I mean, it's pretty exciting to watch what he's done. So we're going to move on to the NFL, of course. We're into week 4 in the NFL. The thing is how are we feeling about our teams? I don't know if you want to go first or should I go first?
About the Panthers?
Yeah.
I'm apprehensive. I'm also quizzical because Christian is supposedly missed 2 practices. Or he missed 2 practices. But here's the thing. Christian said it himself last week. If the dude goes to take a leak, he's on. And this is a quote. If I go to take a leak during practice, I'm on the IR report. So, but this time they're saying it's his quad. I'm saying if that's the case, then the team doctors just need to send him to a freaking chiropractor. Like, literally. Because if your back is aligned, then your hamstrings and your quads will stay aligned. Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional athlete. I know this. How do these people that make millions of dollars not know this? But we do own the Arizona Cardinals. Just historically, like, we beat them so bad in a playoff game. Best quote I ever heard regarding the Panthers game and an opponent that we beat was, we beat the Arizona Cardinals so bad that when the Cardinals got home, not even their wives and mistresses were there to meet them. So, like, I mean, it was a blowout. But so plus this weekend, Sam Mills gave us our culture. Sam Mills was finally inducted into the Hall of Fame in August. And to me, he was one of the most deserving individuals to ever make it into the Hall of Fame. Even if you're just a football fan, yeah, you will agree with that statement. So I'm apprehensive because this game is the keep pounding Sam Mills Hall of Honor game, and Hall of Fame honor game. Sorry, and so I'm really apprehensive, and I just hope we continue with beating the Cardinals. And I think I really was surprised that it's against the Cardinals since we played them last year. We don't usually play them annually. So that was weird to me, but whatever.
The one thing I do look at your team is you have a new quarterback, Baker Mayfield. He's still learning the offense there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a little, I don't know if it's
because they played that game again. We don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. We don't know this or that. You know,
if I look at your stats, granted, you can take stats and you can throw them out the window, right, but you're averaging 276.3 yards per game in terms of passing the football. That's a little discouraging. But the thing is, though, again, Baker Mayfield, like you said, it's still learning an offense. I think it takes 1 or 2 years or 2 to 3 years to actually get down a system in the NFL, and that's just all quarterbacks. But the thing is, though, I'd like to see, that's 276.3 yards per game, excuse me, and then passing 161.3 yards. I'm just going to throw that out the window right now just because he's learning a new offense. Rushing-wise, you know how I feel about Christian McCaffrey, a guy that's from Colorado. He's a great runner. I love him too. I mean, there was a time where I thought the Broncos could get him, and honestly, I think he's in a better situation just because his dad knows the Denver Broncos organization. I just don't think that would have really done very well. Plus, he was actually an announcer for a couple of years while Christian was playing for Carolina. Imagine trying to call your son's games. I don't think Eddie could do that.
You can't do that. Well, and his dad wanted him with Carolina. And also, Cam picked Christian. So Cam really helped draft Christian McCaffrey. Like, the front office at that point actually listened to their players. Can't say the same now. But the Carolina Panthers have been very lucky in that we've had Luke Kuechly, whose football IQ alone is out of this world. And Christian's football IQ is right up there with him. I think he's actually our fourth quarterback, like a fourth backup quarterback. I really do. I know he was at one point, like 2 years ago he was, but 3 years ago he was. I don't know if he still is, but here's the deal. Playing the games, you and I disagree on preseason. To me, plus preseason is done completely differently now than it used to be. So preseason is where the guys really take that role to get to know each other, build that trust, build that leadership. I happen to know a couple of players on the offensive line. I don't know Baker. I've met Christian briefly once, late at night because he was whatever. I was taking my dog out, whatever. But he was super, super sweet to me. But when you make one change on the offense and you don't tell anybody else, you're going to have a problem. There's a communication problem. There's a coaching problem. Last week when we beat the Saints, 2 things came into play there. One, the Saints and the Bucks, that fight the week before, messed with their psyche. Really messed with their psyche. Also, with our defense was freaking lit. Like JC Horn, Frankie Louisville, like they were like balling out. Derek Brown, like honestly, our D is why we won that game.
And you look at your defense, and honestly, your defense is playing pretty well, giving up 348.7 yards per game, ranking 18th in the NFL. The one thing I want to see, the Panthers do better. And granted, your defense is doing fine. I want to see them stop the run better. They're giving up
Yeah.
134.7 yards per game. But the thing is you're not giving up a lot of points, which is a good thing. 19.7 points per game. The other thing I would like to see your team do, and that is turnovers. We know turnovers are a big deal.
Oh yeah.
You've only had 3. Granted, I don't know how many sacks you guys have if you're pressuring the quarterback. I know you are, but 3 turnovers, that just has to get better.
Oh, absolutely. And last week, that's where our D really stepped up because they forced a couple of turnovers. One forced Tio, ended up in a pick 6. And so, I mean, the D has never really been the issue. The offense has been the issue. And here's the deal. At the end of the day, quarterbacks get too much credit for when you win a game and they get too much blame when they lose a game. It takes an entire offensive line. It takes an entire team. And I've said this before. And I really think somebody listens to me. I don't know who, but somebody listens to me. But Matt Rule had put together a bunch of players. He hadn't put together a team. Last week was the first time I had seen us look somewhat like a team, especially on the O-line. Our defense, we've had that leadership. O-line, Taylor, buddy, please step up, be that leader because we don't have a leader on the O-line right now except for you and Christian. And I know you're not that verbose, and that's okay, but we need your leadership. And so that's where I'm at. And because all I've wanted all along is a counterpart to Taylor Moton on the left side. I think we've got that. There's a learning year or two. I think we've got that. I do think, though, at the end of the day, it's still coming down to a lot of coaching. And there's a lot of lackadaisical coaching going on, too.
At least your coach doesn't need an assistant to figure out what's going on.
That doesn't bother me.
It bothers me.
I know. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
But if going to my team, if you guys don't know, I'm a Broncos fan, and honestly, we're 2-1. I'm not panicking. We're tied with the Kansas City Chiefs atop the division going into this week, which is actually amazing because we could easily be 0-3 and 3-0. The thing is, though, I did not like the decision, and I've criticized my coach for this in Seattle when we tried a 64-yard field goal. So you make that, and you go down and maybe get a 40-yard field goal, you're 3-0. But besides that, I mean, the defense is actually, I'm impressed with the defense. I know last week people who watched Sunday Night Football was probably bored by an 11-10 game. Granted, I was more frustrated with the inability of our offense. But the thing is, though, we didn't give up many big plays in that game. And I was pretty proud of that. Overall, third-ranked defense, giving up 251.3 yards per game, third in total passing at 170. I mean, our defense is playing lights out. And we're not letting teams run the football at 81.3 yards per game, which, I knew going into this year that the defense would be pretty good. My question was, with Russell Wilson, could we get the offense going? And right now, that's not happening. I mean, you look at it, 348 yards per game, 16th in the NFL. Passing-wise, we're having the same trouble your team is. We can't get the ball going through the air, which really surprises me. 230.3 yards per game, 18th in the NFL. Rushing-wise, we're doing a great job. I'm not concerned about that. Second to last in scoring at 14.3 points per game. My main concern, though, is we saw it last year with the Denver Broncos on the fact that we could not convert third downs, and we're seeing a trend again. Luckily, the defense is doing a better job, but we're converting third downs at 37%. That's not keeping drives alive, and that I'm a little disappointed. But, the thing is, though, and we saw it last year, I know you've heard me complain about the offensive line. What do you need? You need an offensive line to block. And Wilson has been sacked 9 times. The other thing that completely bugs me is the fact that we are not disciplined. Penalties kill. We've been penalized 30 times, leads the NFL. In fact, our first 2 games, we had 25 penalties, which actually was number 1 in our history through 2 games. You can't have that. penalties kill.
Right.
But we're 2-1. I still can't complain. And I will say this team looks like they needed preseason. And, I have never liked preseason with, the starters, but with a new system, a new quarterback,
you need it.
You really did need it, because I can tell you that first game was okay. The second game kind of went downhill. And last week was just bad. I mean, I know we won 11-10. I'm not going to discredit that we are, 2-1. We could have easily been 3-0. And I'm glad I'm not sitting here talking about 0-3. But I definitely see your point about the preseason. We have a new system, a new coach, a lot of new coaches. And the one thing is also we did hire a assistant, and we've joked here on the Sideline Sports Network that I need an assistant. We joked about that on the Confidential. I know you saw my reaction when you were talking about my team on the Confidential.
That was hilarious.
It was. I'm just frustrated that here's a guy who's I can't remember how old Nathaniel Hackett is. He's been around the NFL for many, many years, and you're hiring an assistant.
So Ron Rivera has one.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what that assistant does. But I will say the thing I don't like the fact that he has an assistant, because he has so many assistant coaches. But I will say the game went so much smoother with Jerry Rothsberg, who's the new assistant for him, because it looked like the plays got to Russell Wilson within 15 seconds of the clock, rather than going a delay game on the play clock. So he could actually look at the defense and say, okay, I want to stay in this play. No, I want to change it. But the other thing that I liked is there was a point, I can't remember what point in the game it was, but we had 4th and inches, and guess who wanted to go for it on our own 38-yard line? Nathaniel Hackett. Guess who probably talked him out of it? Jerry Rosenberg. So I still find it ridiculous that he has an assistant, but on the same time, it's making him look like a smarter coach because he's listening. I know a station I listened to in Denver, local radio sports station, they're saying the problem with Nathaniel Hackett is he's getting too much information from assistant coaches, and you can't do that. And I think this guy is actually going to help. So
yeah, because that guy can take the information, because when you're already in a game day setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's already feelings of anxiety, and then either good or bad, and then you have all this information coming to you. That assistant's going to help you filter it through. That's why I think it's a good idea. And I hate to do this. I want to make one more point, but then I got to get back into work. I'm sorry.
You're good.
But they if you look in the preseason and those who actually played their starters, even if not necessarily their starting quarterback, those are the teams that are doing the best in the NFL right now. Your Dolphins, your Chiefs, your Bucks, your Giants. Who the hell thought the Giants would be 3-1 right now?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't.
The Giants thought they would be 3-1 right now.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But do you want to do quick picks before we go in? And I'm really sorry, I have to get back to training soon.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, we can go ahead and go through our picks really quick. So Bears versus Giants. I have the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, the New York Football Giants. I like that. It's the New Jersey Giants. Make it right. We're gonna change this. But I agree with you on that. I think the Giants will win.
Bills versus Ravens. I'm going with an upset here. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. Just Ravens at home, tough team. Lamar Jackson, I think he gets right this week again.
Question: is the Bills starting defense going all back?
I believe they are going to be healthy enough. I don't think they have any injuries on that defense.
Okay, because I know they were like 5 of their starting Ds were out last week. So I might go with the Bills.
As far as I know, they don't have any injuries. There could be a few here and there, I know. But as far as I know, I think they're healthy. So you're going Bills. Jaguars and Eagles. Eagles, to me, are just the better team there. And Jaguars are a surprise team at 2-1, but I have to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm looking at an upset. I'm torn on this one because Peterson's going back home. So, but honestly, Jacksonville, as Candy Eberling said, Jacksonville is playing lights out. Like, but I'm so torn. I'm gonna go with Jackson. I'm gonna go with the Eagles because they've got the home field advantage, but not by much.
Then Chiefs and Buccaneers. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. I just feel like their team is so much better than Tampa Bay. And my question is, with Mike Evans missing a week, how will that affect Tampa Bay coming back to this week since he'll be back? But I got to go Kansas City. I just like them better.
Carrie, I love you. I got to go with the Bucks because Tom is going to be mad that they lost last week. Evans is going to be playing to redeem himself. But the Chiefs are also playing to redeem that Super Bowl. But they're both playing at opposing fields, so neither team really has home field advantage technically. I'm so torn on this one. I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Fair enough.
And Carrie, that probably just helped you out with your one this weekend.
And then the LA Rams versus the 49ers. I have to go with the LA Rams.
Really?
I just think they're the better team. And watching Jimmy,
they've got the better looking coach.
And the thing I look at it is I saw Jimmy Garoppolo last week. He didn't use Deebo Samuel. He didn't use George Kittle all that much. I'll give credit to the Broncos defense, and I think the Rams defense is just as good as the Broncos defense. So that's my reasoning.
I mean, they're good, but I think Jimmy's had another week of practice with his guys. Target's getting back on track. Don't forget, Jimmy did lead them to a Super Bowl. I got to go with the 49ers.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Under Review, almost at Sideline Sports, because that's the network we are. But thank you, Jennifer, for being on.
I'm sorry I have to get back to work. I wish I could do this all day.
Believe me, I wish I could too. But we heard some of the shows that you're a part of. Of course, your Basket Bros too, and the Pundits Pundit. And just tell people where they can find you on social media.
So also, we're launching Chicks and Salsa Tuesday night as well. And we have special guest Melfar Jr. coming on. We're going to talk coming from Tua, but also, as you know, I have a personal heart for this. Melfar Jr. was in the NFL. He's going to be joining us for our inaugural show on Tuesday night. So Chicks and Salsa, 3 chicks in a pod, Confidential, the Wednesday night's Pundits Pundit, Thursday night, Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel, and Inside the Pigskin with Scott Morganroth. And then Sundays, as you mentioned, produced Basket Bros, so that I share those duties with Mr. Denzel Snipes. But and you can find me on Twitter at Jenna the Professional Fan, or Jenna Cheryl the Professional Fan. You can find me on Reddit at Jenna Cheryl, Facebook Jennifer Matthews Lewis. All same thing, and Jenna Cheryl on Instagram.
Of course, we have partnered with the South Florida Tribune, so please watch their YouTube, and we'll actually share our videos on there on our social media. I know you can find me at Sports Scoop 1. Of course, I have a blog that I write Mondays through Thursdays with podcasts on Fridays. But again, thank you for watching this edition of Under Review. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for Sideline Sports, and we have shows every single day. This has been a Sideline Sports production.